There are moments in life when people instinctively turn to prayer, hoping that divine intervention will change their circumstances. Prayer can indeed bring peace, clarity, and inner strength, but not every situation demands it. Some things in life do not require prayer at all. They require immediate, consistent, and deliberate action. This is where the difference lies between waiting passively for miracles and taking charge of one's destiny. For example, if someone is failing academically, praying alone won't help them pass an exam. They need to study harder, manage their time better, and put in the necessary effort. Similarly, if a person is struggling with health issues caused by poor lifestyle habits, prayer won't magically cure them. What's needed is discipline in diet, exercise, and regular checkups. Prayer can give the motivation to start, but real change happens only when one acts. The truth is, life rewards effort. Action creates results. Prayer can support the mind, but it does not substitute work. If a farmer prays for a good harvest but never plants seeds, there will be no crops. If someone prays for success but never learns skills or takes risks, opportunities will pass by. It is not that prayer is useless, it has its place. But prayer without action is like a car without fuel. You may sit inside, steer, and hope to move, but unless fuel is added, you will remain stuck. Action also builds self-belief. Every step you take toward your goal, no matter how small, creates progress. It teaches resilience, patience, and courage. Prayer may calm your fears, but action eliminates them. At the end of the day, faith without works is empty. Even in spiritual teachings, effort is emphasized, because effort is the bridge between desire and reality. So instead of waiting endlessly for miracles, one must start walking toward solutions. If you want financial stability, work on your skills, budget wisely, and invest. If you want stronger relationships, communicate, show care, and build trust. If you want growth in life, step out of your comfort zone and take risks. In short, prayer can guide your heart, but it is action that moves your life forward. The world doesn't change just because you wish for it. It changes when you act with determination and courage. Every now and then, life gives us situations where we are forced to choose between waiting and acting. Some people lean too much toward waiting, hoping, praying, or expecting miracles without lifting a finger. But deep down, we all know one simple truth. Things don't just happen on their own. Some things in life don't really require prayer. They require immediate, deliberate action. Prayer is powerful, yes. It connects us with God, gives us strength, and helps us stay grounded. But at its core, prayer is never a replacement for action. It is a companion to it. Think about it like this. You are sitting in a dark room, wishing for light. You can sit there all night saying, "God, please switch on the light for me." But unless you stand up, walk across the room, and flip the switch, the darkness will stay. That's not because God is ignoring you. It's because He already gave you the hands, the eyes, the brain, and the ability to take that action. In the same way, if you're thirsty and there's a bottle of water right beside you, praying for the water to magically pour itself into your mouth will never work. You have to stretch your arm, open the cap, and drink. The point is simple. Prayer without action is like expecting a harvest without planting seeds. Let me put it another way. If someone is hungry, God won't drop a plate of food straight from heaven. You need to go to the kitchen, prepare the meal, and feed yourself. Only then, after you've done your part, prayer makes sense, because you can thank God for the food, for the health to cook, and for the energy to enjoy it. Similarly, if you are sick, the first question should be, what's causing it? Are you smoking? Are you living in a polluted environment? Are you neglecting rest? Taking action, quitting bad habits, seeking medical help, changing lifestyle comes first. Then, prayer becomes a source of courage and healing in the process. Basically, prayer is not magic, it is partnership. God expects us to act on what is already within our control. Sitting idle and asking Him to fix everything is not faith. It's laziness, disguised as spirituality. More often than not, God helps those who help themselves. When you give your best effort, that's when prayer adds its real power. Think of it as climbing a mountain. You must take each step with your own strength, but prayer gives you the endurance to keep going when you feel tired, scared, or uncertain. In life, there are countless moments where action must come first. If you want good grades, you can't just pray. You must study, focus, and prepare. If you want success in your career, you can't only pray, you must work, learn, and push yourself forward. If you want strong relationships, you can't simply pray for them. You must put in love, effort, patience, and time. Prayer is the spiritual fuel, but action is the engine that moves the car. Without the engine, fuel alone is useless. With that being said, prayer is not unnecessary. It is still very important. In fact, action without prayer can sometimes feel empty because you're relying only on yourself. But the balance lies in understanding that prayer was never meant to replace effort. It was meant to strengthen it. You do what you can, and then surrender the rest to God. That's real faith, knowing when to act and when to trust. So the bottom line is this: don't use prayer as an excuse to avoid responsibility. Do your part, put in your effort, fight your battles with all you've got, and then invite God into your journey through prayer. That is when miracles truly happen. Not because you did nothing and waited, but because you acted and prayed together. Action opens the door, and prayer gives you the strength to walk through it. Every now and then, people misunderstand the real balance between action and prayer. They imagine that life is just about asking, hoping, or believing, and suddenly everything will fall into place. But that's not how reality works. Life is not a wishing well where you throw prayers like coins and expect your dreams to rise up magically. At its core, life demands movement, effort, sweat, and discipline. Prayer is beautiful, but it was never meant to replace action. Instead, it was designed to empower it. Let's be real. You want miracles, success, happiness, achievements, progress, every good thing life can offer. But tell me, how will those things ever come if you remain idle? Sitting still like stagnant water, refusing to lift even a finger, and expecting God to deliver everything to your doorstep is not faith, it's illusion. God is not your personal servant. He already gave you the tools, the strength, the talents, and the opportunities to act. What's within your control is your responsibility. God won't take that part away from you. Action always comes first. You can pray before action, yes, for courage, strength, focus, and clarity, but you cannot ask God to hand you results without putting in the work yourself. If you want light, flip the switch. If you want food, cook it. If you want better health, quit the harmful habits and live wisely. If you want success, hustle, grind, and learn. Only then does prayer add power to your journey. Without action, prayer is incomplete. Without prayer, action can feel hollow. But together they form a divine balance that transforms lives. There's wisdom in this. Do your best, and God will do the rest. When you've done everything within your reach, then you can surrender the outcome to the universe, to God, to the higher power you believe in. That's real faith, acting fully and then trusting fully. Action and prayer are not enemies. They complement one another. One gives substance, the other gives spirit. One moves the body, the other uplifts the soul. Without both, life will always feel lacking. Every now and then, we need to remind ourselves of one powerful truth. The real keyword in life is action under your control. That is where everything begins. Prayer is important, yes. Hope is important, yes. But before both of them, you must first ask yourself, what is in my control right now? What can I actually do? Because if something is within your reach, then it is your responsibility, not God's. Think about it. Sometimes life puts you in situations where very little is under your control. Maybe you've already done everything possible, tried, worked hard, pushed yourself, and yet the results are uncertain. In such cases, it is wise and even necessary to rely on prayer. You surrender the rest to God because you know deep down you've already done your part. Prayer here is not laziness, it's strength. It becomes the way you let go of anxiety and place trust in something higher. But then, more often than not, life offers you many opportunities where much is under your control. You can study harder, practice daily, save money, choose better friends, quit harmful habits, and show up with discipline. These are not miracles waiting to happen. These are actions waiting to be taken. And if you sit back, pray, and hope while ignoring the effort required, you are not practicing faith. You are practicing denial. Faith was never meant to replace action. It was meant to power it. So the formula is simple. When you have little control, do that little, and then pray. When you have a lot under your control, take those steps first, then pray. Prayer strengthens, but action builds. Without action, prayer is incomplete. Without prayer, action can feel empty. Together, they form a divine balance that moves both your body and your soul forward. At the end of the day, God has already given you the ability to think, to act, to move, to decide. He won't do what you can already do for yourself. Your part is effort, His part is grace. And when these two meet, your action and His blessing, that's when real miracles happen.
Stop waiting. Start doing. The power of action. Life often presents challenges that demand more than just hope or faith. They require decisive action. While prayer can provide comfort, clarity, and spiritual strength, some situations call for hands-on effort, courage, and initiative. Waiting for divine intervention alone can sometimes delay progress, whereas taking responsibility and acting can lead to real change. 1. Problems that need immediate solutions. Some issues, like financial struggles, health concerns, or relationship conflicts, don't just resolve themselves through prayer. If you're drowning in debt, praying won't pay the bills, but budgeting, negotiating payments, or finding extra income will. If a loved one is sick, praying is meaningful, but getting them medical help is essential. Faith without works, as the saying goes, is dead. 2. Personal growth requires effort. Dreams don't materialize through wishes alone. Wanting a better career, education, or physique isn't enough. You must study, apply for jobs, work out, and push through discomfort. Prayer may guide you, but discipline and persistence are what turn visions into reality. 3. Justice and change demand action. History shows that societal progress happens when people act. Civil rights movements, revolutions, and reforms weren't won by prayer alone. They required protests, advocacy, and sacrifice. If you see injustice, speaking up and standing firm makes a difference where passive hope cannot. 4. Relationships need active nurturing. You can't just pray for a strong marriage, friendship, or family bond. You must communicate, forgive, and invest time. Love isn't sustained by hope. It thrives through effort, patience, and intentional acts of kindness. 5. Faith and action. Work together. This isn't to dismiss prayer's power. It's about balance. Faith can inspire action, but action brings faith to life. Even religious texts emphasize doing. Faith without works is dead. James 2:26. Conclusion. Prayer is powerful for guidance and peace, but life's toughest battles are won in the arena of action. When faced with a challenge, ask, "Have I done all I can?" If not, move. The universe rewards those who meet destiny halfway. Stop waiting. Start doing. On fire.
Prayer is powerful, but action is necessary. Why faith requires movement. Life is a balance between divine faith and human effort. While prayer connects us to a higher power, action is what translates that faith into reality. Imagine being in a dark room, desperately praying, "God, please turn on the light." Will the light magically switch on? No, you must reach for the switch. Thirsty? A bottle of water won't leap into your mouth just because you pray. You must lift it and drink. Hungry? Energy won't materialize from prayer alone. You must cook, eat, and nourish yourself. This truth applies to nearly every challenge we face. Prayer is essential, but without action, it becomes wishful thinking. 1. God helps those who help themselves. Many religious and philosophical traditions emphasize that divine favor follows human effort. The Bible says, "Faith without works is dead." James 2:26. If you're sick from smoking, praying for healing while still puffing cigarettes is futile. First, quit the habit, then ask God for strength to stay clean. Example, a student prays for exam success but never studies. Will God rewrite their test? No. They must open the books, revise, and then seek divine wisdom. Lesson: prayer works in partnership with effort, not as a replacement for it. 2. Miracles happen in motion. Most miracles in history occurred when people moved first. Moses didn't just pray for the Red Sea to part, he raised his staff and stepped forward. David didn't defeat Goliath with prayer alone. He picked up a stone and swung the sling. Modern example. An unemployed man prays for a job but never applies anywhere. Will an offer appear at his doorstep? Unlikely. He must send resumes, network, and prepare for interviews, then pray for favor. Lesson: God meets us in our movement, not in our passivity. 3. Responsibility over wishful thinking. Some people treat prayer like a magic spell, expecting God to override their laziness or bad choices. But faith isn't an excuse for inaction, it's fuel for courage. Health. Praying for healing while ignoring doctors, exercise, or a healthy diet is reckless. Finances. Begging God for money while refusing to work or budget is delusional. Relationships. Praying for a happy marriage while neglecting communication is hypocrisy. Truth. God designed us to participate in our own breakthroughs. 4. Prayer plus action's unstoppable power. When combined, prayer and action create unstoppable momentum. Pray for guidance, then make a plan. Pray for strength, then push through the struggle. Pray for opportunities, then hustle to create them. Example: a farmer prays for rain but still plows the field. He does his part, trusting God to do the rest. Lesson: faith is the engine, action is the wheels. Both are needed to move forward. 5. When should you pray versus act? Pray first when you need wisdom, peace, or direction. Act first when the solution is within your control. Pray while acting for endurance, favor, and supernatural help beyond your limits. Key: don't just pray about it, work through it. Conclusion: stop waiting, start doing. Prayer is not a shortcut, it's a partnership. God honors those who honor their own potential by taking responsibility. Before asking for miracles, ask yourself, have I done everything I can? Am I avoiding my duty while expecting divine intervention? Life rewards action. Pray boldly, but move even bolder. Trust in God, but tie your camel. Ancient proverb.
Faith without works is dead. Why your dreams demand action. You want miracles? You want success? You want happiness? Then wake up. God is not your personal assistant. Life doesn't reward wishful thinking. It rewards movement. 1. The delusion of passive faith. You sit there stagnant, drowning in laziness. You won't lift a finger. You won't grind. You won't even try. Yet you demand, God, give me money. God, make me successful. God, fix my life. Here's the truth. If you're starving, praying won't fill your plate. Cooking will. If you're broke, shouting hallelujah won't pay bills. Working will. If you're lonely, begging heaven for love won't help. Being lovable will. God gave you hands, a mind, and willpower. Use them. 2. God helps those who help themselves. Religions, philosophies, and ancient wisdom all agree. Faith without works is dead. Bible. God does not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. Quran. The universe rewards courage and action. Modern wisdom. Example. A student prays for straight A's but never opens a book. Result? Failure. Another student studies relentlessly and prays for wisdom. Result? Excellence. 3. The law of divine partnership. God operates on participation, not substitution. You plant the seed, God makes it grow. You swing the sword, God ensures the victory. You apply for jobs, God opens the right door. Miracles happen in motion. Moses didn't just pray for the Red Sea to part, he raised his staff and stepped in. David didn't wish Goliath dead, he picked up a stone and fired. Stop waiting for miracles, become one. 4. Action before prayer, or prayer before action. The right order: pray for strength, wisdom, and courage. Preparation: act with everything you've got. Execution: pray for favor and grace over your effort. Trust. Wrong approach: God, do it for me. Right approach: God, I'm doing my part. Bless my hustle. 5. The danger of false hope. Hope is powerful but toxic when it replaces effort. The unemployed man who only prays for a job, still broke. The smoker who only prays for healing, still sick. The dreamer who only wishes for success, still stuck. Hope without action is self-deception. 6. Some things are under your control, like working hard, learning new skills, staying disciplined, and being persistent. These are the areas where your actions really matter. On the other hand, some things are beyond your control, such as market crashes, other people's choices, natural disasters, and luck or timing. It's important to focus your energy on what you can control and not stress too much about what you can't. 7. The sacred formula: Work plus faith, daquag power, do the obvious, effort, do the necessary. Sacrifice, do the uncomfortable. Growth, then and only then invoke divine power. Example, want a business? Study, plan, hustle, network, then pray for favor. Want love? Become the best version of yourself. Then trust God's timing. Final truth, God is not a magician. You are the miracle. Prayer is the connection. Action is the proof of your faith. You weren't born to beg heaven for crumbs. You were born to build empires with God's hand guiding your labor. So get up, grind, and when you've done all you can, then pray like a warrior who's earned victory. Trust in God, but tie your camel. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Master this one rule and change your life forever. Only control what you can control, then surrender the rest. This is the golden law of success, faith, and peace. Most people suffer because they either neglect what they can control, laziness, or obsess over what they can't control, anxiety. 1. The control test. What's really yours? Everything you can control, your effort, attitude, daily habits, persistence, and willingness to learn, is where your power lies. These are the levers that actually move your life forward. On the other hand, things like other people's opinions, the past, market crashes, unexpected disasters, and luck are beyond your reach. Understanding this distinction is key. Focus your energy on what you can change and release what you cannot. 2. The 80-20 rule of action versus prayer. In life, 80% of your results come from your actions, the things you can control. The remaining 20% is where divine grace, fate, or a higher power steps in. This is why it's so important to act first and then surrender. For example, if you are in business, your 80% is the hard work, hustling, networking, delivering excellence, and giving everything you have. Once you've done all that, the 20%, the favor, timing, and blessings, is in God's hands. The same applies to health. Training consistently, eating right, and sleeping well is your 80%. Trusting your body's healing process is the 20% you surrender. Fools expect miracles to do all the work. Warriors do their part and let life handle the rest. 3. The surrender paradox. Once you've done all you can, it's time to step back. Stop stressing. You've earned the right to trust. Stop forcing. You've done your part. Now let life respond. The balance is simple but profound. Work as if everything depends on you, and pray as if everything depends on God. This dual approach maximizes effort without unnecessary anxiety. 4. The danger of misplaced focus. Focusing on things beyond your control leaves you feeling powerless, while ignoring what you can influence keeps you stuck. The solution is simple. Identify 3 things you can change this week and take action immediately. Then, write down 3 things you can't control and consciously release them. This habit trains your mind to act wisely and let go gracefully. Final wisdom life rewards those who own their agency, not the passive, not the anxious, only those who do their part and trust the process. Remember, first move your feet, then move the heavens.